Welcome to Puvanur RBIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Welcome to Puvanur RBIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. We are in level 3, 35 Thalas. We have just started Kanda, Jathi, Triputa, Thala, 9-beat cycle in the last episode. We just covered the first sequence, the Tadhindina series, how to approach in Kanda, Jathi, Triputa, Thala. Before I get into this Thala, I'll start with the Tirukkural. இளங்கென்று தீயவை செய்யற்க செய்யின் இளனாகும் மற்றும் பெயர்த்து. What is the meaning of it? யான் வறியவன் என்று நினைத்து தீய செயல்களை செய்யக்கூடாது. செய்தால் பொருள் உடையவன் ஆகாது. முன்னிலும் வறியவனாகி துன்புறுவான். Just because you're mightier, you can't keep doing harmful things to others. It is not acceptable. Eventually, you will suffer as life journey goes on. That's what Thiruvalluvar states. And with this good thought, let's not do any harm to others. We will take it as a good advice. We'll move forward and get into the class. Now, today, I'm going to look at the perspective of Taka Dhimi Dhimi Taka, the sequence, how to approach in Kanda, Jathi, Triputa, Thala. Let's see Dhimi Dhimi Taka, how I've got to use that phrase, and then in Taka Dhimi Taka sequence and how to embellish it in Kanda, Jathi, Triputa, Thala. We will see some perspectives, but I will first teach you the vanilla one, which is the must which you should learn. Later I will share you the perspectives of how you can approach it in a different way. So let's get into the class. Dhimi dhimi taka dhimi dhimi taka taka dhimi dhimi taka taka dhimi dhimi taka taka takudigu 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 dhimi dhimi taka dhimi dhimi taka taka dhimi dhimi taka taka dhimi dhimi taka takudigu 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 dhimi dhimi taka dhimi dhimi taka dhimi dhimi taka dhimi dhimi taka takudigu 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 dhimi dhimi taka dhimi dhimi taka dhimi dhimi taka dhimi dhimi taka takudigu 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 dhimi dhimi taka dhimi dhimi taka takudigu takudigu dhimi dhimi taka takudigu 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 ta takudigu takudigu ta takudigu ta. Like that you can play. This is the vanilla way of playing Taka Dhimi Dhimi Taka. Let me explain step by step. The first paragraph, how you do it is, you slice after the 3, that is, because it's 9. From 8, 1 beat is extra, you're adding Dhimi Dhimi in the front. So to ensure that you get the additional beat for the Adi Thala to make it 9-beat cycle. So when you add this Dhimi Dhimi, it is Dhimi Dhimi plus Adi Thala is equal to Kanda, Jathi, Triputa, Thala. 1 plus 8 equal to 9, which is Kanda, Jathi, Triputa, Thala. So that's what I'm doing. And when you're reducing it, again, the first is 5, Dhimi Dhimi plus the 4, and the rest the 4 you divide equally. then you go with a Thirmanam. The Thirmanam can be, as I told you, you should be on the spark. Like a spark, you should be able to do either a 9 full phrase of a Kanda, Jathi, Triputa, Thalam, Mora, or you can do 8, or you can do 7, or you can do 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. I'm going to explain from 9 to 1 now, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, after that the numerals are over, 1 to 9, and after that it's just a repeat of the combination of 1 to 9 with, of course, the 0, the magic number. So when 0 adds to all these magic numbers, you get the higher figures. So let's look one by one of how to do Mora from 9 to 1. Today is going to be very interesting. So, what I did is equal phrase. Is 2 beats. 2 beats. 2 beats. When you position it in between for the 9, if a 9 minus 6 is 3 beats. 3 when you have to give equal gaps, like a compound wall, when you have to have a beam in between. So you need to have, if you have 8 walls to be constructed, you need to have 7 beams in between. If you want to have 9, you should have 8. If you have likewise, as the number of walls you need to construct more, it will be 1 less for you to construct it. So when you are positioning 3 different phrases, 2 would be your different carways, you need to leave it after the phrase. So when you have 9 minus 6, 3, you have to divide 3 by 2, which is 1.5, 1.5, and that's why when you do that, so 6 plus 3 becomes 9. So the distribution is 2 beats, 1.5 gap, 2 beats, 1.5 gap, and then 2. So add together, it's 9. Now let's look at it when you want to play 8 Mora, 8 beat Mora. All you need to do, again 2 beats, 2 beats, 2 beats. 8 minus 6 is 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. You have to give 1 beat gap. So let me demonstrate in that respective thala so that you can understand. So now it becomes an 8 beat Mora. Now let's go to 7. So I'm using the same phrase demonstrating from 9 onwards till 1. Now let's use 2 beats, 2 beats, 2 beats, and what is left is only 1 beat for the 7. 1 divided by 2 is half. So you have to play a half beat syllable. Half beat is 2 syllables. So you need to give that gap, and it perfectly fits for the 7. I demonstrated in Misra Chapu because it's 7 beats. So this is how it is. So when it's 9, you had a carway of 6. When it is 8, you had a carway of 4. When it's 7, it's carway of 2. When you are going to do for the 6, you can do it. But it does not give any beauty to it. So I need to beautify this by reducing a particular phrase from this and then make it beautify this 6 Mora. So what I can do is what I am doing here is the last takutiku I am removing it. So from 2 beat I am removing 2 beat phrase, I am removing takutiku, which is half beat. It is gone. So I will demonstrate you. Takutiku is 2 beats. Now when I remove takutiku, it will perfectly fit in Rupaka Thalam. You can repeat in Rupaka Thalam twice. If I do it in Vilamba Kalam, which is a slow speed, takutiku, takutiku, taka. So it is just 3 in the Vilamba Kalam. When you divide it by 2, it's 1.5 beats. So I'm removing this takutiku to make it 1.5 beat. So now I'm going to use this 1.5 beat phrase constantly across 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. When put together, it's 4.5. So 6 minus 4.5 is 1.5 again. And 1.5 when you divide by 2 is 3/4. 3/4 is nothing but 3 syllables. Out of 4 syllables, when you play the 3 syllables, that's what is 3/4. So when you have to play mora, that is a 6-phrased mora, 6-beat mora. Let me rephrase, it's 6-beat mora. Okay, that's how it is. Now, you further want to do for 5. I will further say, tagutiku I will take. Tagutiku is 2 half a beat. Again another tagutiku is half a beat. Put together it's 1 beat. So tagutiku I am going to place equally. Tagutiku, 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 tagutiku. When I do that, it's so 3 beats. 5 minus 3 is 2. I need to leave a gap of 1 in between. I get a 5 more now. So I'll explain you in Ganta Ekam. Tagutiku tagutiku tham. Tagutiku tagutiku tham. Tagutiku tagutiku tham. That is for 5. Now let's get into 4. Same phrase I am using. Tagutiku tagutiku, tagutiku tagutiku, tagutiku tagutiku. So 3 beats are there. 1 beat is left. Divided by 2, you have to give half beat karvai. I will demonstrate in Triputa Thalam, half of it, in half of Adi Thalam it should come. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tagutiku tagutiku tham, tagutiku tagutiku tham, tagutiku tagutiku tham. That is 4. Now we will go to 3. For the 3, it's such a short phrase. Tagutiku taka. Tagutiku taka is a 6-syllabled phrase. When you go for the takutiku taka, takutiku taka. So when you go with this 1.5 beat, when you go with the 1.5 beat, takutiku taka tam, you can say that is a very short mora which you can really think of it. That is 1.5 beat. Then if you want to show it for 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you have 3 beats. For that, how we can represent, I will demonstrate you. Dim, dim, taka, dim, taka, dim, taka, dim, dim. That is for 3. So for the 2 beat, it's very simple. The 2 beat phrase itself we can use because the phrase itself has got the gaps. Tagadanadam, tagadanadam, tagadana. Talangudum, talangudum, talangu. Tagutiku, tagutiku, tagutiku. Everything is positioned beautifully. All these you can use for 2. And for the 1, din, that, tam. That is 1. So what we have done now is taken the 9, we have seen for 8, we've seen for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll go step by step and explain all of these again. So I want you to use different phrases what you have learnt and then try these mora using those phrases in your own way and explain me. That's the homework for today. Okay, let's go one by one. For the 9, I'm going to demonstrate in Kanda, Jathi, Triputa, Thalam. Please note, I am using takkita, expressing distinctly for you. But when you are playing, that should be in your mind. That should be in your mind. That's a concentration exercise you should practice because that shows your knowledge. You cannot play fully. That's one way. There's nothing wrong. But that's basic. But you have to leave the gap. Like that you should play. That is Mora number 1. Mora number 2 in Adi Thalam, which is Chatusra Jathi Triputa Thalam. Intentionally, I am using all these acronyms for you to get in mind. And that's the reason I am educating you the Mora in different thalas, so that you can also get to recollect what is 35 thalas. That is 8. Then I am going to take Tisra Jathi Triputa Thalam. What is Tisra Jathi Triputa Thalam? Tisram is 3. Triputa is 2 dhrutams, 1 lagu plus 2 dhrutams. So the structure goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to use this and tell a Mora. That is Tisra Jathi Triputa Thalam. I'm going to now take Chatusra Jathi Rupaka Thalam. I'm going to tell a Mora here. Chatusra Jathi Rupakam is 1 dhrutam and 1 lagu, and 1 lagu, since Chatusram is 4, 2 plus 4 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How we did this was we truncated takutiku taka, takutiku taka, takutiku. We truncated the takutiku, the last part of it, to make the 2-beat phrase into a 1.5 beat phrase. That's the first thing we did. Once when you get that phrase, we equally distributed that phrase 3 times. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. So it becomes 4.5. For the 6, the balance is 1.5. You divide by 2, it's 3 quarters. 3 quarters is nothing but 3 syllable out of the 4 syllable. 3 syllable out of 4 syllable is takadhina is 4 syllable. Takita is 3 syllable. So you have to leave a gap of takita in between takutiku taka, takutiku taka. So this is for a 6. I will tell in Chatusra Jathi Rupaka Thala. Takutiku taka, takutiku taka thang, takutiku taka, takutiku taka thang, takutiku taka, takutiku taka thang. That is a Mora for 6. Then I further started explaining you for the 5 Mora how to formulate it. I chose a pattern takutiku, which is half beat. Twice when you take takutiku, it's 1 beat. So 1 beat phrase is takutiku takutiku. If I take that as an example, or takadina takadina, talangu takadina, junu takadina, kita takadina, talangita takadina, tata kita takadina, tari kita takadina, takatari kita taka. You can use anything. I'm giving you some examples now. I'm going now. Let's take the example takutiku takutiku. Takutiku takutiku, takutiku takutiku, takutiku takutiku, equally placed. So I am going to now 5 for 5 Mora. If you want to do what is the balance? 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. You have to give 1 gap between these phrases. I'm going to explain you out of the 35 thala. Ganda eka thala. Gandam is 5. Ekam is only lagu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the structure of Ganda Jathi Ekathalam. I am now going to tell a Mora in Ganda Jathi Ekathalam. This is a beautiful Mora in Ganda Jathi Ekathalam. You can use it anywhere. So this is 5. Now I am going to tell for 4. Chatusra Jathi Ekathalam. Chatusra Ekathalam is 1 lagu, 1, 2, 3, 4 in bhajans. Most of the time, people will go with this, because it's Sarva Lagu, they use with this pattern predominantly in bhajan form. So, here the same pattern, takutiku takutiku, takutiku takutiku, equal distribution. There is a 1 beat gap divided by 2. You have to give half beat syllable gap. Takutiku takutiku tam, takutiku takutiku tam, takutiku takutiku tam, talangu takutana tam, talangu takutana tam, talangu takutana tam, takadarikata takadam, takadarikata takadam, takadarikata takadam. You can repeat and you can use any phrase, anything as it comes to you and execute it beautifully. Then we saw how to play for the 3 beat. You can use the simple phrase of takutiku taka. When you look at granularly, ta, ku, in Chatusra Jadi Rupaka Thalam, I will give the granular form. I will slowly build this granular form into a very, very aggressive way. Ha, ka, ha, ku, ti, ku. Ha, ku, ti, ku, tha, ka. Now if you want to repeat twice, tha, ku, taku, tiku, taka, taku, tiku, taka. Twice I did in the second column. Third speed, taku, tiku, taka, taku, tiku, taka, taku, tiku, taka, taku, tiku, taka, 4 times. Now what I want to do in the higher speed, that becomes the you can tell 8 times in Chatusra Jadi Rupaka Thalam. So when you can tell 8 times in Chatusra Jadi Rupaka Thalam, for 3 beats, it'll be 4 times. In Rupaka Thalam, you can express it very comfortably, this simple mora. Like that you can express. The next two is very, very simple because it's just the beat. The beat itself, the phrase itself is interluded with the gaps. Takadena tham, takadena tham, takadena. Takadena tham, takadena tham, takadena. It's well distributed. Takutiku taka, takutiku taka, takutiku. The taka is in between. Talangudhum, talangudhum, talangudhum is in between. So this phrase itself acts as a beautiful anchor mora, well defined phrase. So for the two we can do that, and for the one, the dhing tha, takadina tha, dhin tat tha. Anything you can play. So these are all the vanilla forms. So we saw adaptation of takadimi dimi taka in Kanda Jadi Triputa Thalam. I also introduced the terminologies of 35 talas, whatever the possible different talas, so that now you will get to know how to use these terminologies, how to compose mora in all these talas. I've given you an idea. So many other talas which are unraveled, you can use all these ideas and get there to form your own creations. I'll see you in the next class with Takadhimi Tatadhimi sequence with a perspective, and I'll wind up this class with a Tirukkural. Thipaladan pirarkan seyyarka noipala tannai adal vendadan. What is the meaning of it? Tunbam tharuvana pinbu tannai vandadaiந்து varuthalai virumbadavan தான் மற்றவர்க்கு தீமை தரும் செயல்களை செய்தல் கூடாது. See, if somebody is expecting that he should not get any harm later in the day, he should always be blessed with good virtues. He should refrain from doing harmful act to others. That's the only way he can expect that sort of a better thing in his life. That's what Thiruvalur says. Isn't that true? As long as we are good to everybody, obviously we will be protected by the Almighty all the times. Having said that, I will wind up this class today. Hope you had an exposure, good exposure of how to compose your words, your mora, and I have exposed terminologies of different 35 thalas, whatever is there. And I want you to look in other thalas as I gave you a few homework class to go in each thala with each jadi, write down the numbers, and hope you had better idea, you have better idea of how to go about those thalas when you get a chance to demonstrate or showcase later in the future. Pranams, I'll see you in the next class.